Welcome back. This class this morning will be focusing on abdominal poses, poses that build up to using the abdominal wall, the abdominal muscles, and how we can go into them in a bit of a safer way. So important is to have been practicing your standing poses, your inversions. All of these poses help you to learn the actions that are required for deeper abdominal work. So I would say that if you're a beginner, it's better to look at and practice the standing poses and the inversions first, and then you can go a little bit deeper. All right, so let's get started. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe and don't forget to click the bell so that you are notified when the new videos are uploaded. Now let's get started. All right, so the props you're going to need for this first pose will be a strap. So get that strap and come down on your mat. So we're going to lie down. This is Supta Tadasana. So feet are at the wall, moving your hips close enough that when your feet are at the wall, your knees are a little bit bent. And as I straighten my legs, it will drag the flesh and the clothing down so that the whole back body is lengthening. Just make sure your t-shirt is not going to choke you when that happens. And don't come up and adjust your arms and your shoulders to lengthen. Just press your feet into the wall. And as you do that, you're going to feel the shoulder blades dragging down, and you'll feel the shoulders on the floor. Okay? Thighs at the floor, heels at the floor. And now keep that left foot secure at the wall, pressing into the foot, descending the thigh. Just hold on with the strap a moment. So thighs are descending. Your buttocks is fixed. So from there, move the tailbone in, move the buttocks up, but keep the thighs pressing down. So there's opposing action again. So moving the top body down, moving the back body up. And then take your hands, interlace your fingers. And as you extend your arms over your head, straighten the elbows and press into the feet. So press the feet into that wall. So you're pushing the wall away from you. So the hips are moving toward the wall, the top of the buttocks moving toward the wall. Your heels and the mounds of the feet are pressing into the wall. Your kneecaps are lifting, your thighs are lifting up. And you're reaching up with the side trunk all the way through the arms. Elbows moving towards one another. Okay, let's do that again. So bring your hands up, change the cross on the fingers. Just taking a moment here to activate the legs. So using that press of the feet into the wall, keep the legs active, keep the legs moving downward, and also lengthening at the same time. And then release the hands. Keep that action through the legs, especially the left leg. You're going to bend the right knee. Take the strap onto the ball of the foot so you can have a little bit of a noose here. So just move the strap down until you have this little opening, and you can bring it right onto the ball of the foot. Okay? And now from here, this is a long strap. You don't need to have such a long one, but if you do, whichever size you have, take your hand up until you bring that leg into a 90 degree. And so here, I'm not really asking you to move the leg over. I just want you to straighten the arm, bring the shoulder down. And as you do that, descend the abdomen toward the floor. So you don't feel a lift. We have a natural curve in our back, but I want you to move the abdominal area down toward the floor. So you're connecting the leg into the hip socket. As you exhale, abdomen moving down, lower back toward the floor, and move that upper arm toward the shoulder. You can bring the other hand onto the thigh, that thigh descending away from that hand. And then reach up through the ball of the foot, stretch up, pulling with the arm, pulling the shoulder down, lift up through the chest. Keep the abdomen moving down toward the floor. So when I did that, there was a lift. So keep the abdomen descending. So using your exhalation, descend through the abdomen. And then release that leg. And switch to the other side. So again, coming closer to the wall. Press the foot out to the wall. Hold the strap. Bring the hand onto the thigh, thigh descending. And come up into a 90-degree angle. So you can see your knee. Draw the kneecap up. Open through the back of the knee. Stretch up from the calf toward the heel. Thigh moving down. So connecting the heel into the hip. And then stretch the toes up. Move the abdomen down. So with your exhalation, move down. Move the front ribs down. And feel that breath. So as you exhale, feel the breath in the back body, feel it in the abdomen. And then coming back to the first side. Okay, now you're going to take this strap and you're going to pull the leg. First, come into the 90-degree. Release your abdomen down, and as you exhale, moving the abdomen, the lower back toward the floor, feel that. Move your leg towards you any amount. Keep pressing the inner heel at the wall, inner ball of the foot, inner knee down, inner thigh down. Reach the arms. Use your exhalation. Move the abdomen toward the floor. Soft breath. And then release the leg. So whatever you feel in the leg, just breathe into it. You know, if you have tight hamstrings or you have some tightness in the hip, breathe into that and see, can you release it with your breath? So now we've got the strap on the other side, coming back to that 90-degree again. Refix the foot at the wall. Descend the thigh. And then start to reach the arms down just a little bit. Keep the leg at 90 degree, activate the leg, and then abdomen towards your lower back, exhale. So feeling the abdomen as you release, as you exhale. Each exhalation as the leg moves closer towards you, exhale, feeling the back spread. Keep connected with the heel and the foot at the wall. Keep lengthening that leg. And then release. And now you're going to take the other foot, the first leg. You take the strap and bring it underneath the neck. So the leg that's lifted, you're taking the strap, you're kind of threading it through the back of the neck and pulling it with the other. So my elbow's bent here. I'm holding that strap. And as the leg starts to come over, I'm going to have more lead on this strap. Okay, so first, holding the strap, externally rotating. You can even bend the knee, get that external rotation. Walk your hand up the strap, and then start to pull with the other strap, with the other hand, to make it a little bit tighter, and then bring the leg out to the side. And now, just be aware of the abdominal in the other side. So moving that left hip, left thigh, left chest, left waist, moving that down toward the floor. So not letting it lift up, but descending down. If you can't bring your leg very far, that's okay. Just get that rotation and then straighten the leg. And if you do need support, you can always put a bolster here and rest the leg on the bolster. Again, come back to that work of the abdominal area moving down. And then lift the leg up. We'll change sides. And then you'll take the strap of the lifted leg, bring it alongside the neck and out the other side. So here I have the strap, I have my elbow bent. I'm going to take a little bit of lead going up closer to my neck, externally rotate the thigh, And as I do that, I'm pulling. So the more I bend the knee, the more I can pull that strap. The more I can pull the strap, the more I can get that extension on the leg. So when you're moving the leg over to the side, there's that tendency to lift the side. So descending down. So with your exhalation, with your deeper abdominal moving towards your back, you keep that descending. Okay? So you're not moving the whole trunk, you're just moving the leg in the hip socket. And so give yourself enough space that you can bring the leg over to the side. Breathe. Concentrating on the breath in the abdomen, keeping it relaxed, moving the lower back toward the floor. And then you can either bend the knee or just bring the leg up and take the strap off. Okay, now you're going to bend both knees just to begin with and reorganize the strap. That was Supta Padangusthasana I and Supta Padangusthasana II. So now this is Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. And I'm going to bring the strap right onto the heels and bring the legs in that 90-degree angle. All right, if I'm bringing the legs over, I'm thinking, well, I'm doing something really good here, but that's not really what I want to do. I want to keep the heels lined up with the hips so the femur bone moves into the hip socket and the hips stay on the floor. If I bring my legs too far over, my hips are lifting up. So keep that contact with the hips on the floor, the lower back spread, the abdomen moving down, okay? And bring your legs up, or your hands up towards your feet. And then pull the strap again and bring your shoulders down toward the floor. So that, still that lift of the chest, as I pull, I want to lift my middle back. So my little back is sinking. I want to lift my lower back ribs, my middle back, and bring my shoulders onto the floor. So full extension through the trunk. If you find that your back is shortened, then just be aware of that and lengthen it out. Okay, now this is Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. I'm going to do with one foot in that strap, and then I'm taking the other leg out, so it's alongside of it. And here, I'm going to bring the leg from 90 degrees to 60 degrees, and do that on an exhalation. So as I exhale, the abdomen is going toward the lower back, the back is going toward the floor, the legs stay firm and active, and then you can come back up to 90 degrees, and then we'll do that again, 60 degrees, and come back up again, and then come back into the strap. So if you're doing this class, you've done this before. So you have that awareness of your breath through the abdomen. And then bring that leg down to 60 degrees. Extend from the calf toward the heel, draw the toes back towards you. Breathe, and then come back to 90. And then exhale. Just re-observe your abdomen and your lower back. Use your exhalation, drawing down, and then exhale. Bring the leg down to 60 degrees. And coming back up. All right, we're going to do it again. We're going to go from 60 degrees to, from 90 degrees to 60 degrees, to 45 degrees. So the lower the leg gets, the more difficult it gets to keep the back down. If you feel that you're lifting up and it's too much on your back, then bring your leg up further, or put some support under your hips. Okay, so coming to 45 degrees, and then exhale 30 degrees. Keep extending, reaching out through the heel, lengthening the leg. Use the breath, exhale, Inhale, come up. And then take the foot again in the strap. Exhale, 60 degrees. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of your lower back. Exhale. And 30 degrees. If 30 degrees is too much, if it's the tipping point for you, then come back up to 60 and come back up to 90. Okay? So now, for those of you that can take the strap off, just have the legs above the head. If that is a little bit taxing on your back, so don't do anything that's going to create stress in your back. This class is for those of you that have already been working on this kind of work. And if you haven't, then you should do some of the other classes first. You want to do a full range of classes before you start to get to abdominal work. All right, so for those of you that are in the class now, you can have your hands behind your back. If this is good for you, just take your arms over your head, hook your thumbs, lift your lower back, lift your upper back, middle back, keep the legs straight, and then exhale, coming down to 60 degrees. Stay there for a few breaths. 45 degrees. 30. Coming back up. 90. Exhale, 60. 45. 30. Inhale, come up. So if that's been too much for you, then just take your strap back on your feet and you work back in the first way that we were working, 90, 60, 30. Okay, and then switch legs. For those of you it was okay, we'll do it just a few more times. Okay, lengthen. Use your exhalation, and we'll go a little bit faster. 60, 45, 30, 90. Exhaling, 60, 45, 30. Inhale, last time. 60, 45, 30. Inhale, come up. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the floor. Okay, just be there, have a few breaths. And now, you're going to have a blanket or a bolster. Okay, so I'll start with the blanket. This is called Jathara Parivartanasana. So you extend your arms out to the side. We're going to do it in the preliminary stage. We're not going to go into the full pose. So you'll first lift your hips up, move your hips to the side, bend your knees, and as you bend the knees, just see where the knees are. So you can see one knee, this outer knee, is a little bit further back. So you want to lengthen that whole side as you bring the leg over. And you can bring your thighs onto that blanket for a little bit of support. And then notice how your shoulders have lifted. So you want to adjust yourself, press down, turn the chest, turn the whole back side of the body. And then you can have your hand on your knee. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. So you can feel the movement in the abdomen. Use the breath to turn the lower abdomen toward the upper abdomen. Keep lengthening through the side. So the hip is moving away and the hip is moving toward the knee while you anchor this outer shoulder down. And then release. And then you'll bring the blanket over to the other side. Stretch your arms out. Lift your hips, move your hips out to the right there a little. Tuck that hip under. So you're going to roll. You want to roll onto the hip. You want to roll onto the outer leg. So you're not rolling onto the buttocks. You're rolling onto the outer hip. So get that direction, and then bring your legs over. Once you have the thighs and the knees on the blanket, just use your arms, lift yourself up, untuck that lower shoulder and the upper back, and then extend your arm. Inhale, exhale, turn. So the lower abdomen is turning toward the upper abdomen. You can keep your head where you just look forward, or you can turn your head and look toward that arm. So let the shoulder be heavy, the head be heavy, and then release. Okay, coming back, we'll roll over to the side and then press up. Okay, just take a few breaths there. So sitting in Sukhasana, we'll just do another twist. So just to show you what you were doing on the floor there, the abdomen was turning. So you're using the breath to turn. Raise your right arm up, lift up, and turn. Bring your hand onto the outer knee. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, turn. So you're using that exhalation, turn. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Coming back to the center, other side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. So the back body is turning, the abdomen is turning from the tailbone, lifting up through the crown of the head, right up through the center of the body. Exhale, turn. Okay, so now you're going to come into a kneeling position. All right, so kneel on both knees, and you bring your foot up onto the mat. Have this knee in line with the hip. Okay, and you're going to come up and reach your arm over. Bring your upper arm, fingertips on the floor. Keep your hips moving forward, and you're going to turn the chest. So again, you're turning from the abdominal area, turning from the back ribs. And this foot is helping you to keep your knee over your hip. So instead of the knee moving, the hip moving this way, your knee is lined up over your hip. So this is a little bit of a stopper here. You're pressing, drawing the thigh back, and now turn the chest. Use the breath, exhale, turn the chest. And you can take the arm up and over, fingertips at the wall. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Parighasana, take a few breaths, and then come up. We won't stay too long in that one. And we'll turn to do the other side. Again, hip is over the knee. Foot is a little bit of a break. It's moving, it's giving you that direction, that sense of direction to move the thigh back. All right, this buttock remains forward, reaching up, lengthening over, bring your fingertips onto the floor. If they don't reach, you can take your ankle, or you can take your hand on a block, hand on the hip, exhale, turn, reach the arm up, exhale, bring the hand over, turn. And then release. Okay? So that's not the full pose, but we won't do the full pose right now. We're going to come into Paripurna Navasana. Okay? So Paripurna Navasana, I'm going to have you take a chair. You can bring the chair to the wall. All right, and you'll come down, and you can use that strap. You're going to come close to the chair. You want to have your heels on the chair, or your legs on the chair where you're on the bone of the heel. Okay? So before I do that, I'm going to bring the strap onto the feet. And just press my feet into the chair with my knees bent. Okay, from here, just bring the strap onto the ball of the foot. And now bring the middle back, the upper back into the body. Okay? As you can remember the work we did with the abdomen moving toward the lower back. Keep the abdomen moving back, chest lifting. So it's not sinking so much like this, but the abdomen is moving back, this is lifting up. So they're a little bit like opposing actions. Lifting. Okay, and now bring the heel onto the chair. Straighten the legs. And I'm going to have you lean back a bit. So scoot forward just a bit. And I'm using the strap, pulling through the ball of the foot, but at the same time pressing into the ball of the foot. So this pulling action is bringing my shoulders back, but at the same time the pressing action is helping to lift my chest. Okay, so you get that a little bit of curve to the upper back there, but more lifting. And the legs are straight. Okay, so the chair is a little bit lower height. We're going to next take our feet at the wall, but just get the feeling of this, legs straight, arms moving back, chest lifting, abdomen moving in and up. Stay with the breath. And then bend the knees. Okay, I'm going to take the chair away now. Just put it to the side. And I will bring my legs up a little bit higher up the wall. Okay, so I'm going to be more at an angle. And I'll bring my heels up. I can use the strap again. And I'm going to lean back a little bit. Okay, so coming in, lifting the legs, pressing with the ball of the foot. Not so much, I'm not pulling so much that my heels are coming away from the wall, because then I'll fall backwards. So there's a balance between the front body and the back body. So I'm pulling and lifting, and my legs are extending at the same time. That may happen to you. If it does, that means you're a little bit too close to the wall. Okay, so now you can try bringing your feet up to the wall. Take hold of the toes. Pull the toes and press the heels. With the shoulders moving back, lift the chest. Okay, so when that happens, the whole front body extends and lengthens. So the abdominal area is moving toward the lower back, but up. The lower back is lifting, shoulders are moving back, and legs are extended. Okay, so I just wanted you to feel the action of that. So now you can come away from the wall, and you'll find the balance on your sitting bones. So you're a little bit toward the back of the sitting bones. You bring your legs up, have your hands underneath your knees. And from there, just balance. So as you balance, you can feel the work through the abdominal area, moving in and up, chest lifting, like at the wall. And now, if you can, start to straighten the legs. So press the knees into the hands and stretch out through the legs. Lift up. Keep the chest lifted. Front armpit, chest lifting, shoulders moving down, and then come down. We can do that a couple times. Just keep breathing. So depending on how many times you've done this and the strength of the abdominal so far with your practice, so take it easy. Find the balance first. And as I straighten the knees, I'm pressing the thigh, pressing the knee into the hand, and at the same time pulling with the hand to keep the chest lifted. Stretch out through the toes. Raise the legs up. And then bend the knees. Okay, so we're going to take the next phase of it. For those of you that can go a little bit further, for those of you that this was already enough, then just do this one more time. Okay, for those of you that have been practicing a little bit more, you can take Well, everyone, how about everyone will do this now, and you just give it a try. For those of you that are not as confident and you're still building up to this, take your hands behind you, lift the thighs, lift the shins, abdomen's moving back, and now start to reach your legs out. Shoulders moving back, shoulder blades moving in, chest lifting. Lift the legs, and then come down. Cross the legs, walk the arms up the wall. Stay with the breath. Okay, so we'll try it one more time. So for those of you that want to go back to that first position by straightening the legs or even staying in this position and just getting the lift of the chest, you do that. For those that want to go a little bit further, you can come back. Bring your arms out, lift up. So even though the fingers are extending toward the wall, the shoulders are moving back, chest is lifting, abdomen is moving back. Breathe. And then come down. So I'll show you one other way that you can do that, just to get the action and the attention where you need to get it. You can have the strap right above the shoulders, below the shoulders, on the shoulder blades, and then open your strap out. If you have a nice long strap, this will probably work. If not, then you can take two straps and put them together until you get the distance you need. Okay, so this is going to help just to help you stay in that action so you can feel it. Bring your fingertips behind you, stretch up through the legs, and press into the ball of the foot to get that extra lift to the chest. Good. Beyond the fingers. Elbows moving back, collarbones wide, shoulders moving back. Lift the chest. And then if you have your balance there, this is a little bit too tight. So just see where you need to adjust, because ultimately you should have balance between the front, the legs, and the chest. Be aware of your breath, soft breath. As you press the feet into that strap, lift the chest. And then bend the knees and bring the legs down. Take your strap off, and you can come into Adho Mukha Svanasana and lengthen. So now just feeling the breath through the abdominal area, moving in and up, in and back, lengthening. And then forward Virasana. Extend your arms. And then you come up. All right, so now I'd like you to get two bolsters, or one bolster and a roll. Or you can take Sirsasana. If you're practicing Sirsasana, you can go to the wall and do that. For those of you not practicing Sirsasana, shoulders or headstand, you can take two bolsters. So I have two bolsters here. So in lieu of Sirsasana, or if you're having your period, but if you were having your period, you wouldn't be doing this practice. So this is too strong for those that are on their cycle. We don't want to do anything on our cycle that is going to work the abdominal area. We want to create space. Okay, so now I'm going to come down. My hips are a little bit to this far side, and I'm using my feet on the floor and releasing my head down. You can keep the knees bent so the feet keep that movement of moving this way, and bring your arms over your head. Okay, so now here, as I'm over this bolster, I'm not coming into an inversion in lieu of Sirsasana, but I am also lengthening through the whole anterior spine. So after the work we've been doing through the abdominal area, just allow this to lengthen, breathe into it. Keeping that weight from the foot moving back through the legs into the hips. And then you can stretch your legs out, descend the thighs. So this feels really nice after doing a little bit of abdominal work to really make some space through the front body, to create extension. And after also working through the abdominal area, now this opening brings lots of blood flow, energy into each cell. So you can see I have the shoulders at the bolster. My neck is long. My head is descending down. So you don't want to jam the neck. If this is not enough height for you, then you can put more blankets on top of the top bolster, make it a little bit higher. So there's more of a drop from your shoulders down to the head. Stay with your breath. Keep the legs extended like we did in Padangusthasana. So you're extending, connecting with the feet at the wall while you lengthen. Hips are descending towards your heels, which then, with the weight of gravity and the upper body descending, gives you a nice extension through the front body. All right, and then you're going to come down now, so you can slide down. And then roll onto your side. Okay, so now you'll take the legs up the wall, Viparita Karani, so take a bolster to the wall. And depending on your bolster size, if the bolster is quite low, you may not need this, but sometimes you put a spacer there so that the bolster stays a little bit away from the wall so you can drop your hips into that space. So I'll come onto the side of the bolster. So I'm going to come onto this end. As I come onto that end, I also want to come onto the side of the thigh like I did before. I'm holding a rope. You might not have a rope, so I won't show with the rope. And then you're going to turn your hips. All right? Coming down. Your hips may start to slide, so you want to roll the shoulders under. Shoulders provide a little bit of break. I'm pressing my heels and I'm walking my hips, upper back, and shoulders toward the wall, because I want to keep my legs at the wall. And with this, again, I get that action of Padangusthasana, which is the drawing down from the femur bones into the abdominal area, which now is able to soften, lengthen, and have some space there. With the shoulders rolled under, it keeps me from sliding all the way down on this incline or this decline from the bolster down. Okay, so now feet, legs. You can bring a strap onto the shins or the thighs if you need to. If you want to stay in this for quite a long time, you don't want to think about your legs, but just allow the legs to drop down so the abdomen is relaxed. So between the pubic bone and the two hip bones and the rib bones, this whole space here, you want to make it parallel to the floor so that it's relaxing. Viparita Karani means still lake. So as if this were a body of water and it was still. So it's not having a little waterfall that comes this way because your hips are higher. So you want to sink your hips down and lift the chest, and then just be there. And with your exhalation, soften through the abdomen. So from not only the center of the abdomen, but moving out to the left side and the right side, so that the whole abdominal area soften and relax. You can bend your knees now and start to move yourself off the bolsters so your hips are on the floor. And have the bolster right there behind your thighs. Just bring your feet together, Baddha Konasana. So again, the whole pelvic girdle is relaxing, abdomen moving toward the floor. Legs are completely supported on the bolsters, so it brings another degree of softness into the groin and the pelvic area. So continuing to be aware of your breath. Just observe your back body, back ribs if they're moving down towards your hips. Press your elbows, lift your back ribs so that your whole back posterior spine is lengthened. Back ribs are widening. And then bring your feet together and roll onto your right side. Okay, now you're going to get ready for Shavasana. So for this Shavasana, let's take the bolster underneath the knees. If you don't have a bolster, you can have a rolled blanket or just have the legs on the floor. All right, so now coming down into Shavasana, arrange your arms and your shoulders so that you have that same broadness through your chest. Your shoulders are moving down, almost as you were tucking in Viparita Karani, but not quite that much. You just want to have your shoulder blades flat. So adjust until you can feel both sides. And you're rotating with the shoulders slightly so that the arms are turning out. Palms are facing up. And then just let the backs of the thighs, backs of the knees, the whole leg be supported by that bolster. And with that, come back to the breath. Release down through the abdomen with your exhalation. Beginning to feel the breath as you breathe into the abdomen. So your inhalation. Feeling the exhalation. And then just letting go of the breath completely. Just let it breathe, let yourself breathe naturally. As you observe your inhalation and your exhalation, just see how the breath begins to become really quiet, and how it starts to extend. Extend as you relax your exhalation and your inhalation. Bring your hands onto your abdomen, observing the breath through the abdominal area. Bring one hand onto the chest. Observe your inhalation and your exhalation. And as you're ready, you'll bend your knees and roll onto your right side. Bring your arm underneath your head. Rest there for a few breaths. And then inhale, come up. You'll come back to a seated position. You can come onto the bolster if you'd like. Sit upright. Just observe which leg you've crossed. So we have automatic legs we cross first, automatic arms we cross first. So change to the other side. Sitting up tall. Again, come back to the breath, and come back to the breath through the abdominal area. Just observe what's happening with the abdomen. Is it spilling forward? Is the pubic bone descending? Just reach the pubic bone up, slight tilt up, and with that, the length up through the front of the spine. The abdomen moves toward the back. Without gripping, without any muscular activity that you're doing, just the mere lift of the pubic bone and leveling of the pelvis. Thank you for your practice today. Namaste. We'll see you next time. Okay, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the class, you've learned something, and I would just suggest that you check out the link that I'm putting below, which will have a little bit more in-depth description about the abdominal area, the core, and what it takes to have an understanding when you're in the poses. Also, you can check out the back care class, which will also address these different areas and help you keep yourself safe. Okay? See you later.